Sisters. We are back again today with another special edition. Today we are speaking with Mr. Page, who is a composer and musician from the state of Texas. So we're going to be talking about the music in the show Beauty and the Beast, which is very unique in many different ways. So Mr. Page, what makes this music so unique?
To me, it is a recapturing of the elegance of kind of past musicals, almost like looking back to classics like Sleeping Beauty and delving into a type of writing, a style of writing that can not only appeal to a music theater crowd, but also to a classically oriented crowd. The string writing is very lush. The orchestrations are very dense. There's a lot of use of modality. It's just a very big orchestral production. Kind of not unlike I would say Strauss or Mahler, where the use of the orchestra is it's almost an extended orchestral sound. There's just a lot of fullness, and I think that like I said, that really can appeal to the two different camps, to the popular idea, to the musical theater side, and as well as to the classically trained and classically minded listener.
In the opening song, the villagers are singing about Belle, and the song's called Belle, and they're singing how she's such a strange girl, a peculiar girl. What makes that song stand out?
That is such a great song, not only from a compositional standpoint, but also from a lyric standpoint. To me, that song acts like an overture, not only with the musical themes that are brought out, but also with it brings out some thematic elements in the story that you're going to see later on. There's a reference to a book that she's reading that kind of talks about, kind of gets you prepared for what's coming up in the story. But to me, one of the things that stands out in that song really is how it acts as an overture. There are themes, musical themes that anticipate what's going to be coming up. There's a wonderful use when Gaston is introduced. There's a wonderful use of the percussion and the brass. I feel like the orchestration in that is so rich, and it really, really just uses the orchestra as well as the chorus. I mean, there's a lot of singing. There's a semi-chorus, a female semi-chorus in there. It's just a tremendous use of the forces that are available.
So in this show, all of our onstage roles are 8th grade and under, all the way down to pre-K, and we have some middle and high schoolers playing in the pit band as well. For young musicians, what advice would you give on performing this music? So
that's a good question. Many years ago, I was fortunate enough to direct a production of The Wizard of Oz, and to be the musical director for the Wizard of Oz. And one of the things that I remember was that when the main cast came in to work on their songs, they had watched the movie, and they patterned their approach and their delivery of all the not only the spoken dialogue, but the sung dialogue, exactly the way it was done in the movie. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. We were working on a piece for Easter, and we were talking about how he's a professional harmonica player. And we were talking about how there's in improvisational music, or in like gospel or blues tradition, that there's no set one way to do something. And so you're not bound to the score. You're not bound to one performance. You can experiment, and you can put your own spin on any performance that you want to do, especially when you're doing it live. And so my advice would be to, and I know that you have really gone to great lengths to find different performances, different sources of the story and of this musical and all these productions. But is to not just to listen to and to refer to one production, to think about all the many productions and all the many variations and performances and presentations of the story, But to take all those in and to find maybe a new direction, a new voice, a new way of phrasing, a new way of delivering, and make it a performance and a production in the present and not something that is solely rooted in the past. Kind of one of the great differences between a classical tradition and a popular tradition. A classical tradition takes its cues from the score, and then the performers realize that score and bring it to life and use artistic interpretation. But if you think about popular tradition is much more rooted in a recorded tradition. So you hear the final product on an album, on a CD or streamed or whatever, but that is the definitive version. And so it's harder to reinterpret that because you have a definitive version of a song by Taylor Swift or a song by Doja Cat or any type of song that is in a popular tradition. But in a classical tradition, there's so many different performances and presentations. I would encourage people to really find their own voice and to make this a new production as much as possible.
So be an artist, make it their own creation.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't get artistic license by accident. You have to earn it, and you earn it by doing it. And you earn it by making a mistake. You earn it by saying, "Ooh, I tried this and it didn't work. Let's try something different." That's what rehearsals are for. That's why you rehearse and you go over. It's not to get it perfect. It's to get it to say something. It's to get it ingrained in you so that when it comes out for people, they can hear it fresh. And some people go into a production, or some people, an audience member might come into the theater expecting one thing, and to give them something that resembles what they're expecting, but also something brand new, will be quite refreshing. They'll be talking about that much more than saying, "Yep, that was exactly like it should have been." No one wants that. People want to be surprised. And I think if anything COVID has taught us is that people want to have experiences. They don't want to have, if they wanted to listen to a recording, they would just sit at home and listen to a recording. That's very easy. You can turn on the movie and watch it on any streaming service, but to go to see something live, that's exciting. And I think it's important to remember to give the people something that they didn't know they needed.
So everyone gets nervous and everybody messes up, but kids get especially nervous about messing up. Is messing up really that big of a catastrophe?
No. No. I've always told people that I'm always happy when my first mistake, I don't say my only mistake because it's never an only mistake. My first mistake in any performance of anything comes early. That I'll screw up, the first phrase, or I'll miss I'm a trumpet player, so maybe I'll miss an interval or a partial, or I'll play the wrong accidental or something. I'm always happy when that comes quickly, because then the anxiety is over, because it's a given that there's going to be a mistake. So a mistake is a given. It's the way you handle that mistake, and it's the way you kind of just laugh it off. I had a wonderful experience in college once where a friend of mine was giving a voice recital. I don't know what he was singing, but it was from a musical. And the pianist started, and he started singing, and he was in a character. He was in whatever he was singing it in character. And the character was like a good old boy. He was happy to be wherever he was. He was super positive, and he started singing, but he messed up the words. And so while the pianist kept playing, he said, "Yeah, you keep on going. We're going to try this one more time. I just messed up big time, y'all." And everyone started laughing, and no one judged him. No one cared, because he acknowledged it, and then he just moved on. Now, that may not be what you want to happen, especially when you get a large production. But I mean, mistakes happen. They happen all the time. Budget for them. Every performer should budget for at least one mistake, if not 10. You know, some the audience will notice, some the audience won't notice, but they'll notice it more if you react to it. You know, you don't want to go, oh my gosh. You don't want to make a big deal out of it. Just take a deep breath and keep going.
Yes, there's been some pretty big mistakes in my past as well. Well, thank you for the advice for our young performers.
Oh, my pleasure. I wish them all the best, and I hope this is a fantastic performance, something fresh and new that no one has ever seen before.
Thank you, sir, for the advice and for speaking with us today. Everybody else, less than 2 weeks until performance. Get your tickets now. They're already half gone. We'll see you soon.